AI is automating your job. You have read the headlines. You have seen the announcements. You have maybe even used the tools that are supposed to make you more productive. And quietly wondered if more productive is a polite way of saying, we need fewer of you. But here is what the headlines are getting wrong. The risk is not what happens on day one. The risk is what happens 90 days after the implementation, when the dust settles and companies start examining headcount relative to output. Let me explain what actually happens when AI deploys at scale. Because it follows a very predictable pattern. Day one, the technology rolls out. Managers announce the tools. Most employees are skeptical. Some are genuinely afraid. Leadership communicates that the goal is augmentation, not replacement. They often mean this sincerely. The first 90 days are almost always fine. But the 90-day window is when the data starts coming in. Outputs per person, time to completion on standard tasks. Which roles are generating proportionally more with AI tools and which are generating the same as before? This is where the real risk concentrates. Not for the people whose roles were obviously automatable, but for the people in the middle. There are three categories of workers in every AI transition. Category 1 is clearly vulnerable, roles involving repetitive text generation, standard data summarization, template-based analysis, and routine correspondence. AI completes core tasks 60% to 80% faster with comparable quality. The math for headcount reduction in this category is straightforward and typically happens within 6 months. Category 2 is clearly safe. Roles requiring physical world interaction, complex relationship management, novel judgment under uncertainty, and strategic decision-making with incomplete information. AI augments these roles but does not displace them. Demand for people who can direct AI systems and evaluate outputs actually increases. Category 3 is where most professionals live and where the real risk concentrates. These are roles where AI can do 40% to 60% of the work. Well enough to reduce how many people are needed, but not well enough to eliminate the function entirely. A team of 10 that handled a certain volume of work now needs 7. The remaining 7 all have jobs. But 3 people just discovered something uncomfortable about themselves in the process. What they were primarily contributing was volume, not judgment. The 90-day risk is not job elimination. It is job reconfiguration that reveals which workers are creating value that AI cannot replicate. Here's what that looks like in practice. An AI system deploys across a marketing team. The tool drafts content, generates variations, runs competitive analysis, produces performance reports. Within 90 days, senior managers can clearly see 2 types of team members. The first type uses AI to dramatically amplify their strategic output, generating better campaigns faster, spending reclaimed time on insight, judgment, and client relationships. The second type uses AI to generate more volume of the same work, more content at the same quality, produced faster but not performing better. In the second scenario, more output does not equal more value. The 90-day review surfaces that distinction, and it is not kind to the second group. The actual career risk of AI is not that it replaces your job description. It is that it removes the cover provided by busyness and volume. When tools handle the mechanical work, what remains visible is your judgment, your relationships, and your ability to synthesize complexity into decisions. Workers who are valuable primarily for volume disappear in restructures. Workers who are valuable for judgment become more valuable, not less. So what do you do with 90 days? The answer from every documented technology transition. Offshoring in the 1990s, automation in the 2000s, ERP implementations throughout, is consistent. Workers who survive and thrive are those who spent the first 90 days getting aggressively good at directing the AI, not merely using it. There is a meaningful difference between knowing how to prompt an AI system and knowing how to evaluate, refine, and take strategic responsibility for the output. The first is a skill anyone learns in a week. The second takes months and produces outcomes that are qualitatively better and much harder to replicate. The second move Expand the scope of what you own. In every AI transition, the workers who are cut are the ones operating within a narrow, well-defined lane. The workers who survive use the efficiency gained from AI to move into adjacent responsibility, doing a bigger job at the same speed rather than the same job faster. The 90-day window is a genuine gift. It is the period when organizations have not yet finalized what the new team structure looks like. The workers who understand the strategic direction and can demonstrate alignment with it have a disproportionate opportunity to shape their own outcomes. AI is already in your workplace or will be within 12 months. The real risk is not whether your role gets automated. The real risk is whether you will be indispensable when the machines are handling the volume. 90 days from now, the answer will be obvious. The question is, which side of that answer you are on?